so what I don't have a 3.0 GPA? Like, so what? Like, I've seen so many times that, like, it's not about the numbers or whatever. Like, even working in admissions, I know it's not about all the numbers. And I was like, I have the interview skills. I have, like, some kind of personality, the way to power through an interview. Like, I have the ability to learn. So, like, if I don't have those skills now, I can keep learning. And then I was just like, let's do this. I'm calling this Bold Ellis. We're going to do everything that I said I wish I could do or thought I couldn't do, and those kind of things, and just run with it. And then literally I tried my best. Of course I couldn't capture every single one, but I tried my best to not only like write about, but like talk to people, or like film even, like my successes and my failures, of course, because like you learn from all of those too. So like my very first post where I even like said the word Bold Ellis, I made a Facebook post and I was like, the year of the Bold Ellis. And I was like, I raised my hand in a 300-person math lecture, didn't get called on, but I almost died. Because people that know me know that's like a big, big deal, because I do have anxiety, but what's even worse is that I'm shitty at math. So I really thought I had the answer, and I was like, why am I not raising my hand? Why am I not raising my hand? I'm like, fuck it. And I did it. And then I'm glad he didn't call on me, though, because I had the wrong answer. And I don't think at that time I was ready to be wrong in front of a 300-person math lecture.
The point was raising your hand.
The point was, like, going for it. Like, just going the deep dive in. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That book really made me realize, like, we have, like, a basket of fucks. And, like, sometimes we spend too much of them on certain things that don't really matter. And I think I did start small. And, like how I said, it snowballed. Obviously, I wasn't going to go from, like, the first time I rose my hand in lecture to, like, applying to a big company and saying, I got this, I'm not scared.
Small stuff.
Yeah, so, like, something like I used to rely on my housemates a lot to ask for to-go boxes at restaurants. Because I was just like, anxiety, I don't want to ask, and like, that kind of stuff. And I was like, why? I think the big thing is asking the question why for everything. Like, things you're scared of, things you're hesitant towards, the things that you keep saying, I wish, why? And like, that's a design principle too. So like, the lamp is like, has a light bulb in the center. Why? Because like, if you put a bulb around it, things like that. So just having reasoning for everything. And, like, so many times you realize that the reasoning doesn't make sense. And then you're like, oh, that's just me putting myself down. Like, why do I do that? Mm-hmm. Like, even something I've seen recently is, like, when you feel insecure about yourself, or, like, say you don't feel pretty or things like that, and you're like, I'm ugly. Like, who benefits off you telling yourself that? Nobody. And, like, it's in your head, too. And you're like, why do I say these negative things to myself? And you're like, there's no purpose for that. And you're like, you battle back with the thoughts or like the things that you hear or like naturally occur with yourself. You fight that back, and that's how it starts. You like small battles, you win those, you gain the confidence, you keep going. So like every time I went out, I was like, I got this. Bold Ellis, I'm gonna ask for the container. Like, that kind of stuff. And then I was like doing my resume and stuff like that, and I was like, oh man, like there is nothing on this resume of substance. And I was like, fuck it, let's go. Like, let me apply, because like, how do they really expect you to get like bigger and better jobs if you don't like apply and start small? Yeah. And then I had literally no design experience. I was like, I don't know how to do anything. And I was like, well, if I don't know how to do anything, like, the internet is out there. So, like, I downloaded materials. I started going for it. And, like, that's hard. Like,
yeah.
I have a big fear of failure. Like, it's intense. And so I was just like, there was a while where it was downloaded onto my computer. I didn't do a damn thing with it. And I'm like, no. And then I started watching, like, how to design videos. Like, when I went to the gym. Every morning, like, on the, like, stair stepper, I was like, yeah, that's how you design. And then I was like, I'll just try it. And, like, I opened the application and just played around with it, right? Like, nothing tangible or whatever. And then I was like, maybe I'll try something else. Like, maybe I'll find a design challenge on the internet. And then, like, I put it up and I was like, maybe this is good enough to apply to something with. So then I applied to the Students for Exploration Discovery of Space for their graphic design team. And then for some reason or not, I got hired in there. And I was like,
God, that's awesome.
I don't know what's going on. But I worked for them. I had a huge imposter syndrome, but like, you know, working through that. I don't really believe in the whole like New Year's resolution thing. I think that's a great start. So like if you need like a catalyst that like everyone else is like doing it at that time, might as well have something to start. That's great. But I think people that like, oh, I'll start next year kind of things is like not what I'm about. I think that's like the whole premise of Bold Ellis is like do everything now. Like, you know, something small. I was like thinking about it the other day. I was like, I really like watching painting videos. Like, I wish I could paint. And then I'm like, that's a Bold Ellis thing. Like, you know, like, you don't ever have to say, like, I wish that I could blah, blah, blah. Like, you can do it now. Like, so, like, I'm gonna go and buy painting stuff and watch a Bob Ross video. Like, you know, like, small stuff like that just, like, adds up to the big things over time. It just snowball affected. It's, like, so ingrained into my personality now that, like, when I just don't really realize that other people are just not saying that I'm not regular, but like, you know, other people don't realize that yet, right? And so then they're like, oh, I wish I could do this or I could do that, and I'm like, let's do it, like right now, like I'll go with you, like let's do it now, like, because what's stopping you except you being like, oh, I can't do it. Why? During Bold Ellis, like, it's not just, like, the up and up, you know? Like I applied to jobs, yeah, I got research positions, I got all this stuff, I got a boyfriend, like, you know, all that. It wasn't just all that, you know? Like, because I have high expectations for myself, I have a low threshold for frustration. So when I don't succeed immediately or I try and things like that, I get really frustrated. Or if I don't change overnight. So, like, say I want to be like, I want to be more confident in this. And I'm like, I'm going to be more confident in this. But the next day or, like, the next week where happens to be a day where I have, like, low confidence or I don't feel like I'm doing good in it, then I'm just like, oh, I didn't change. I told myself I was going to change. It was going to be easy. And now it's all hard. And I'm never going to change now. And, like, I would have those moments where I was just, like, crying. Like, because my friends would be like, you're Bold Ellis. Like, you know, like, I always say it's like the joke that everyone's like, you're not down was really big a couple years ago. And it still is. But, like, my friends never said you're not down. They're like, come on, Bold Ellis. And I was just like, I'm not bold today. And, like, I just cry, you know? And, like, that's fine. Like, you know, when I was, like, during those moments, I was just like, I'm not Bold Ellis because I'm, like, weak like this. Like, I have breakdown periods. And I'm like, it's part of it, you know? It's, since you're on the struggle bus, like, you're working hard, you're applying yourself in probably aspects of your life that most people never apply themselves to. Like, if you realize that, you're like, let yourself have a breakdown, you know? Let yourself go and cry. Like, Rome wasn't built on a day. Like, it's gonna take a long-ass time. I've been doing this, 3 years? 3 years of this, and I feel like I'm still, you know, working at it. And I definitely still have breakdowns. But that's fine. And that's going to happen in everyone's bold journey. And I want people to know that happens, to be okay with that. If you're going to have to cry in the grocery store, cry in the grocery store. But it doesn't matter because you're working for a greater purpose. You're working to improve yourself. You're investing in your own self. And that's fine if you need to take a crying break and things like that. I would say, like, what is so scary? Like, I know a lot we're scared of the unknown and we're scared of failure, but I think the big thing to recognize is what is so bad about failing, right? Like, I think there's this huge negative connotation around failing, right? Like, oh, I didn't get the job, or like I didn't get a good grade on this, and like it means I'm a failure. That's like rationally that doesn't make sense, right? Just statistically, like if you've done fine all this time in this one failure. You can't define yourself as a failure. That literally doesn't make sense. And so I think I think people like always say it as a thing, like it's a learning opportunity, but then they don't actually apply it. I think you have to go in and define like what that failure means, or like what is so awful about it. And then when you question it like that, or you question your experiences like that, you're like, you know what, it really isn't that awful. It helps you see big picture. So like me, I got a 50 out of 100 on my midterm the other day. Okay. Like, I've taken so many other midterms. I'm almost graduated. I'm sure my company doesn't care that I got a 50 out of 100 on my midterm. It's not the end of the world. But if you told past Ellis that I got 50 out of 100 on my midterm, like, I was raised Asian as fuck. And I would got my ass whooped. And, you know, I would have been like, this is the end of my life. But it's not, you know, like, those things aren't tangible like that anymore. Like, I used to really think about like, 1.9 GPA, like I'm literally a loser, right? And it's not my fault either. I had 5 jobs at the time. I was working 5 a.m. to like 11 p.m. at night. I love working. I'm addicted. But you know, I was just like, I suck, like, especially because it's your first year in college, you know, things like that. I was like, I can't handle university life, you know, like I had it so easy in high school. And I was like, I was scared to take big classes. Like, and even like people like the academic counselor through ERC was like, you should consider changing majors because you're not smart enough for your major. And then she pulled up my SAT scores and she was like, the reason you do bad in math is because you did bad on the SAT. This major is too hard for you. You don't like, you should not be in this major. And I was like, college is hard. But I think after Bold Ellis, things like that just deflect right off. Because I'm like, you don't know me. I know me. I know how much I'm capable of. Which is anything. And I think because I see that about myself, I see that in everyone else too. So like, if I see people struggling, I'm like, that's the struggle now. Like, when you look back on that struggle, you're just like, damn, I am a hard ass worker. Like, you feel that sense of pride. Like, of course, in it, you're like, it is the struggle bus. I am riding that all day, all night. But, like, when you look back, you're like, dang. And that only fuels your successes going further, right? And so, like, when people come to me and they're having a rough time or they, like, don't believe in themselves, I'm like, how'd you even do Bold Ellis? I'm like, you're bold you. Like, I just put it to my name, right? But, like, if you just do the not exact same thing, everyone's journey is different, but if you do the same thing, apply questions, ask questions about everything. Why are you like this? Why do you believe this? Why are you doing this? The world is your oyster. Like, that's what the Bold Ellis thing is all about. Like, this is your life. Make it your life. That's something I say all the time is like you are you, and only you have to like you at the end of the day. And only you're gonna die you, so make sure you like you when you die, right? And so, like, I just make yourself the person you want to be. I don't understand why you're waiting for tomorrow or putting it off or wishing you could be like that. I think it's entirely possible to do it now.